So fast forward a year later, and of course I go to the same event again, the 2024 induction ceremony, and I'd been there for about 45 minutes, and I'm just kind of, networking and working my way around. And I come from the hallway back into where the auditorium was, where the awards were, and I look to my left, and there's Johnny Morris standing at this table on the wall with nobody else around him, and he kind of started halfway walking my direction. I was like, okay, here we go again. So I just walk right up to him. I go, "Hey, Johnny, I got a favor to ask of you." And he goes, "Sure, bud. How can I help you?" And I said, "I've got this Bass Pro hat that I got from your 50th anniversary a couple of years ago, and I've got all these Hall of Famers that have signed this hat, and there's a spot right next to the Bass Pro logo. Would you be kind enough to autograph that for me?" And he just lit up. And he was like, "Buddy, I'd be honored. You just made my day. Thank you so much." He's like, "Where's the hat at? I'll sign it right now." And I was like, "Well, it's out in my pickup. I'll have to go get it here in a minute." And then I segued and I pulled out my business card with my Co-Angler logo on it. And I started telling him, I said, "I don't know if you remember me or not, but I met you here last year." And he looked down, he saw my logo, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, buddy. I was putting on my jacket a couple hours ago." They wear these blue Hall of Fame jackets. "And I pulled your flyer out of my inside coat pocket, and I saw that, and I said, 'Son of a gun, I never followed up for that kid last year.'" And he took me right over and introduced me to one of his right hand men and said, "This is John from Co-Angler. You need to make sure you follow up with him on his company and his business," because I dropped the ball. And then the next thing you know, I'm standing there in a circle, and we're all just sharing fishing stories, talking back and forth. And Johnny's like, "This is your guy right here. Alan will make sure he follows up with you." And then, Alan just jumped right in and got all my contact info. We exchanged phone numbers, and I about a month later, I was invited to go pitch at headquarters to Bass Pro.